In the lush rolling hills of northern Georgia, tucked behind winding dirt roads and ancient pines, there once stood a handmade castle known as Corpsewood Manor. Wasn't a mansion in the, traditional sense. It was two brick towers, a library, a study, a music room, and a chicken coop. No electricity, no plumbing, no modern distractions. Right? It was the dream of Dr. Charles Scudder, an eccentric, highly educated man who had once been a respected professor and a pharmacology at Loyola University in Chicago. Scudder walked away from the academic world and the chaos of the city with a simple life goal: freedom.
Hmm.
Interesting, huh?
Very interesting.
So he went ahead and purchased this 40 acres of wooden land for $10,500 in the mid 1970s and moved south with his partner Joseph Joey Odom, 4 Great Danes, and 2 antique harpsichords strapped to the back of their Jeep. Locals were suspicious. Scudder sported long flowing hair, earrings, and carried himself with the flair of a man unconcerned with rural norms.
Proud of you for pronouncing that correctly.
Thank you. I saw the confidence that was not there. So obviously we did a little bit of a teaser, a little bit of hook, as they call in the biz. And the reason I went with this because this incident also happened in Chicago, like last week's Tylenol case with the Tylenol murders. Guess what is even more creepy? Same year, 1982.
Whoa.
So these people in Chicago not only are dealing with a wild scene about Tylenol and tampering and all of that. And if you're wondering what we're talking about, go back last week and watch it. We had a lot of cool comments where there was a handful of people that were like, I lived through this. It wasn't just Chicago. This was all over the news. And it was scary. And this is quite the case as well. And like I said, I was just kind of going through some notes and I'm like, 1982, Chicago. Let's go back to back.
Had to be.
And there was some Jeep references, and you got ducked for the first time in the Jeep world. And I said there was just too much of this to go on. So the voice you're hearing, how rude of me not to introduce. I'm Matt. That's Meg over there, the Dun Dun Queen. We're in it. Same time, same place. Some snow, some cold, some terrible weather.
Lots of rain.
We're going to need to build ourselves a boat. Start getting the animals 2x2 on it.
Just going to live in my bubble.
Going to live in the bubble. Just like this guy did. Should we do the intro or jump right into this?
Do the intro.
All right. When do you want to do it?
Now.
We did it. How about that for an introduction? This one's pretty wild. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
No? All right.
Let's I have not.
Keep going with Scudder and his long hair, the eccentric, highly educated man that he is. People, they were suspicious. And then you start seeing a man painting pentagrams in the manor, decorated the home with occult symbols, and freely spoke of his interest in alternative religions, including potential Satanism. That's going to catch some people's attentions, I feel. Oh!
Sorry about it.
Wow.
Sorry
You all right? Are you allergic to Satanism?
Rain.
But you want to know the truth, Meg? Scudder wasn't a practicing Satanist in, the Hollywood sense of everything. He subscribed to the Laveyan Satanism, a philosophy rooted in self-indulgence and personal freedom, not the devil and worshiping him. Never heard of that. I could see how people would get confused. Throw the word Satanism around. Usually Satan, the devil, you worship him. But apparently it's two different things.
Didn't know that.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. If I was LaVeyan Satanism, I probably would have chose a different name if it had nothing to do with the devil. But hey, Not me, and nor are we one to judge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of people who met him, Charles and Joey, they were polite, they were private, and they were kind. But in a small conservative town, sometimes that doesn't matter, does it?
Nope.
You're different in a small town, you are judged and looked upon quite differently. And then the whispers, they grow like vines, the rumors, they start to spread. And unfortunately, these whispers in this case, they would soon turn deadly.
Dun, dun, dun.
There it is. I had in my thing that if I remember to add it, I'm going to put distant thunder rolling in. I don't know if you want to try to do, but I like the dun dun better.
Yeah,
That wasn't sound effects. That was me. I'm a natural sound effect. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. And as always, viewer and listener discretion is advised. There is going to be some gruesome things that are going to happen. Spoiler. You ready to jump into this?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're gonna enter Kenneth Avery Brock, who's a 17-year-old drifter from a very troubled background. Brock had visited Corpsewood Manor a couple of times, drank the potent homemade wine, toured the eccentric grounds, maybe, just maybe, even heard some rumors about treasure hidden somewhere on the property. Isn't that funny how the rumors start spreading? It's like, oh, we got all these devil worshippers, and then it's like, oh, well, it's a mansion, it's a castle, there's got to be treasure. And Brock actually even grew convinced that the two men were wealthy, and he wasn't alone. So Brock's drinking buddy, Tony West, he was older, 27, and already a convicted felon who had served time for armed robbery and nasty crimes against children. So you got these two knuckleheads up to no good, very intrigued, fascinated with Corpsewood Manor. What could go wrong, right?
What could go wrong?
Well, in early December 1982, most people, they're getting in the mood for Hanukkah, Christmas, being festive. Nah, these two knuckleheads, they hatched a plan. They were going to head to Corpsewood Manor, get drunk, overpower Scudder and Odom, force them to reveal the location of the hidden riches, and then they were going to take what they wanted. Maybe leave no witnesses. I mean, I guess if you're going to be evil and up to some things, probably easier said than done, right? Isn't that the old saying?
It doesn't sound like a very good plan.
Right? I mean, let's be honest. As soon as line 2 is get drunk, and you're talking about overpowering these people, I'm not sure I would want to do that, but hey, I'm also not going to go and try to overtake a castle. Although it does sound fun. I've always wanted to be a pirate, or a Renaissance man, or a Spartan warrior from 300.
All very different things.
One of them. I feel like they could all overtake castles, right?
Okay.
So, Dumb and Dumber, they load a 22 caliber rifle, a 357 Magnum revolver. They get into the car, and they set out into the dark woods on December 12th, 1982. They arrive at the castle, and, they're nice people, so they're welcomed in, right? Scudder offered them homemade wine that was infused with fruit and strong enough to knock you sideways. They drank. They smoked some marijuana. And at some point, Brock left to retrieve the guns hidden outside in the car. And then when he returned, everything changed. They tied up Scudder, demanding money, which didn't exist, Meg. And then they began their assault. Joseph Odom arrived during the chaos and was shot immediately in the face with the rifle. It almost sounds like, obviously this is probably bad timing after the whole shooting in the face with the rifle comment, but kind of sounds like a modern game of Clue. They're in a castle.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is I think they need to add to the clue is a chicken coop. Because that castle had one. Clue doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Been playing a lot of Clue lately, haven't we?
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised there's not like a garden.
I'm sure there is, right?
There's got to be like extension packs.
Yeah. Interesting. If not, we just came up with $1 million idea. Back to the scene. The Great Danes that we mentioned earlier, they start attacking, trying desperately to defend their masters.
There's 4 of them, that said?
Yep. And the dogs, they were either shot or they just ran after they heard the gunshots. They then turned back to Scudder. The professor reportedly said just 6 words before they pulled the trigger. I asked for this, I suppose. He was then shot in the head 5 times. Wonder why that came out of his mouth. I asked for this, I suppose. I mean, didn't seem like, he was a professor. Seemed like a pretty decent guy. Had a castle. Was just looking for some freedom.
I don't know.
Not exactly sure why he said that. What do you think?
It's a strange one.
It is a strange one. So after the murders, Brock and West, they ransacked Corpsewood Manor. Guess what they found, Meg?
Not much, I'm going to guess.
Pretty much nothing. There was a few silver coins. Well, maybe there was a .22 pistol, which they already had. And some homemade wine.
Seems like it's pretty disappointing for them.
No hidden fortune. No buried treasure. Just a plan that went south, I guess. Right? I mean, I feel like there needed to be a better plan. Some actual proof of riches. I mean, you're in there, scout out the place. They said they've been in there a couple of times before, drinking. Kind of made me wonder, like, why is this ex-Professor Freedom just letting stranglers, strangers, drifters in and getting them drunk? Was there other motives, potentially?
Don't know.
Maybe that's why he thought he deserved it. Maybe they were up to no good.
Maybe.
In the 82, what a wild time in the area, right? So then they fled the manor in Charles Scudder's Jeep Cherokee. Probably no ducks yet, right?
Probably not.
But the nightmare, it didn't end there. During their escape, they encountered a man named Kirby Phelps, who was a Navy lieutenant who offered them assistance when their car broke down. In cold blood, they murdered him too.
Knew they were going to do that.
And then they carjacked the vehicle. This is like straight out of a horror movie, isn't it? There's a murder. They flee. Car breaks down. Nice person. Hey, can I help you, boys? Boom, boom. Steal that car. So we got 2 hidden cars, 3 dead bodies, potentially some dead dogs. And they're drunk. They're on the loose. They travel south, evading police for days. But then all of a sudden there was a tip that led authorities to a Salvation Army shelter in Georgia, where they surrendered quietly. And at the time of the arrest, Brock reportedly confessed quickly, saying they had been high and paranoid, convinced Scudder was using black magic on them.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe that either. And you got some days to sit in the Salvation Army and think of a plan. But later in court, they would claim they were under demonic influence, an argument the jury didn't buy. Good for the jury. Both men, they were convicted. Brock received 3 consecutive life sentences, and his drinking buddy West was sentenced to death, later commuted to life in prison. And to this day, neither has expressed real remorse. Sad, isn't it? But again, troubled past, troubled youth, just a terrible, terrible situation. Isn't it? It's just so sad.
It is.
I feel like, not that they would have seen this coming. I don't think anybody ever thinks murder, but I feel like if you have this castle in the middle of the woods and you're attracting people and you're doing, well, I guess it wasn't devil worship, but satanic rituals and stuff, especially in certain areas, I don't know. The saying that he said still kind of trips me up a little bit.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was going to show you a picture real quip of the Corpsewood Manor. Do you have a picture in your brain?
Kind of.
Let's see here. Here's the picture here.
Okay, similar.
Yeah, for anybody there. You guys could check this out. Maybe I'll throw it on the socials. Interesting. So I guess I got my words wrong, so I want to correct them because I was saying that this was in Chicago. I believe that they were from Chicago, but the actual Corpsewood Manor is in Georgia. So I think I said it wrong and just went to my brain.
Yes.
The ties to Chicago, but all of this is happening at the same time. Ties to Chicago. That's where he taught. He wanted to get away from the city life. Found this little place in Georgia.
Yes.
And the devil went down to Georgia. Yeah, and here's another picture of the old rundown castle. It's pretty sweet, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Man, I want a castle now. Although it's not the time. It's even got this like crazy gargoyle in the entryway. Cool. Doesn't it? Isn't that cool? For anybody that is watching this, man, this is cool. Not the story and the outcome, but
the building.
The building itself. Inside's got the old wooden floors.
Yep.
It's been tough to heat. Old furniture, just it's pretty cool.
That is cool.
I have a new goal in life. I want a castle. Look at the old stove too. A lot of wood being cut and up there. All right. So you're probably thinking, well, what's the aftermath? The legends. What's going on with that manor today? The ruins of Corpsewood Manor do remain. It's a decaying skeleton swallowed by the forest, as we just saw. It's getting ran down pretty good. The twin towers still stand, moss covered and broken, and I bet you that gargoyle is still there, hanging out, watching over anybody who dares go there. I wonder if it's like trespassing, like if somebody still owns it, or if it's kind of one of those local legend lores where kids and people still try to sneak out there and take pictures and all that stuff. Because locals, they claim strange things happen there. Visitors, they report seeing two men standing silently in the ruins. Maybe the some kind of ghost crew should go and investigate it, huh?
Maybe.
There's reports of smelling the sharp, sour scent of wine in the air, hearing dogs barking where there are no dogs. All right? And then they even hear, reportedly, the faint chords of a harpsichord in the dead of the night.
Interesting.
What's a harpsichord?
It's an instrument.
I know it's an instrument, but what is it? Like, is it strings like harp and something else?
I think it's the one that you hold on your lap with the key, and it has keys. And then you strum it.
Harpsichord. Let's check this out. Oh, it's like a piano. It's like a interesting, fancy piano-looking thing. I've never seen. There's Italian harpsichords.
Oh, the one I'm thinking of is an auto harp.
Oh, much different. This almost looks like could be like a board game and a piano. Like while they're playing, the kids are out there with their cars, having races downhill on the harpsichord.
Yep.
Interesting. I wonder what it sounds like. We're going to play this off camera. I don't know if it's on YouTube, if they'll allow us to do this, but I want to hear with the harpsichord. Pretty cool. Gives it some creepy, eerie vibes. Huh. All right. Investigators, though. Oh my goodness, are you okay?
Sorry, choked on my spit a little bit.
Jeez Louise. She's going to make it, everybody. If anybody was wondering, she's fine. Investigators found a self-portrait of Dr. Scudder hanging inside the manor after the murders. He had painted it himself. It was actually a bullet wound to the forehead. in the painting years before his death. Almost a chilling premonition. That's wild, huh?
That's different.
Could you imagine, like, oh, I'm just going to do this little painting of myself. Ooh, let's put a bullet hole right in my forehead.
Maybe that's what he was talking about.
Oh, tied it all together right there. Among Scudder's belongings, there was actually a handwritten letter predicting that if he ever left the safety of the manor, he would be killed. And while some locals still blame devil worship for the tragedy, the truth was far more mundane and more terrifying. It was ignorance, hatred, fear. The real devils were human all along. Now here's right here.
Okay.
Today, the land is private, and visitors are warned not to trespass. But still, every so often, someone makes that trip. And sometimes they say you can feel eyes watching you from the tree line. Are you making that trip? You're going to see that private no trespass sign. You're going to be like, nope.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble.
That sounds like me. Let's go home.
Let's go home. It was fun. Do you think we could take a picture from here? I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. If we're going all the way to Georgia for the purpose of seeing this, we're getting there. So if anybody out there has access, knows someone who has access to it, let us know. It'd be cool. Just in case we happen to drive right through Georgia. It's on the way. Yeah. That's an interesting case, though, isn't it? And as they say, freedom, it turns out, Meg, it's a dangerous thing to guard alone. This was good. Did you enjoy it? Hopefully everybody else did as well. Thanks, everybody, for traveling with us into the dark woods of the Corpsewood Manor. If you have anything else, we tell you every week. If there's a story, of something that you think is wild or want to hear more about, let us know. We'll put our little Your Town take on it and do some stuff. I feel like next week we need to get out of the 80s. We'll go something a little bit different. You got anything that come to mind, or figure it out by next week?
Figure it out by next week.
All right. No spoilers, no little teasers for you this week. But as always, stay serious. I was going to say stay safe and stay curious, and it came out stay serious, everybody.
Stay serious.
Make sure you stay serious out there. Stay out of the woods at night, especially in Georgia. Wow. It's been a day already.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go grab some lunch and enjoy the rest of the day. And hopefully anybody listening, you enjoy the rest of your day as well. We'll be back next week. This has been the Your Town Podcast. That's all I got. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.